Awesome. Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Brooke Baker. I am a regional vice president and independent consultant with Arbonne International. I want to welcome you all to this call tonight. I am super excited. I love that this business allows us, especially through technology today, to get together through the comfort of our own homes. With a glass of wine or a cup of tea, whatever your specialty. I'm 6 months pregnant, so I'm on bottled water. I would love a glass of wine. But from the comfort of your home, and just hear a little bit more about this crazy business called Arbonne. I want to thank you all for jumping on. I know time is something that we don't get back. Hold on here. Time is something, that you spend and you don't get back. So I appreciate you all spending some time just to get on and hear a little bit more about what we do, what we do here in Arbonne. Whoever invited you to be on this call sees something great in you. We take it as a compliment at the very least, because we are taught to really look for people that we would love to work with, the brightest, people that are hardworking, people that are fun to be around. We always joke that at our corporate jobs, a lot of people have that one person that life would just be so much better if they weren't there. And we don't invite those people to do Arbonne, we joke. So it's all, take it as a compliment that you were invited on the call. I'm going to spend the next 30 minutes or so just sharing Arbonne with you the best way I know how, and that's really through my own story and my own personal experience with Arbonne. I've been doing this about 4.5 years. It's been crazy how fast that it's gone. Sorry, I have a few more people on here. I just want to mute them. There we go. So
this is Judy. I'm sorry. Brandy can't hear you, so I don't know if it's her end or your end. Sorry to interrupt.
That's okay. It's probably, I think everyone else can hear me. Have her look and see. There's probably a sound setting on her computer.
Brandy, if you, in the lower left-hand corner, there's like a little speaker where you can mute and unmute yourself. But there's also like a pop-up menu where you can
right,
where you can have different options. So you might need to change one of those options, if that makes sense, so that the audio is streaming through your computer. So click audio options, and then it will say use mic.
Like you probably want to use your speaker high definition audio device, or play with those. And if we are recording it, so if for some reason she doesn't, we'll send it to her as a YouTube if she can't hear. Okay, Judy?
Okay. Or she could try plug-in headphones in too.
Plug-in headphones might help too. Okay, so I'm going to share Arbonne with you really just through my own experience. I obviously had a lot of hesitations going into this, so I'm going to tell you kind of my story. What I can tell you is my story may resonate with you, it may not. What I do know is if you tell me your story or share your story, I can probably find someone in Arbonne who has a very similar story who has succeeded at this. What I love is there are people from all types of backgrounds, accountants, business owners, doctors, lawyers, teachers, nurses, you name it, really. I can find someone in that field that has really succeeded at this business and taken it to awesome levels. I know that Arbonne isn't a fit for everyone, so don't worry that this isn't going to be a convincing type of deal. But I can tell you that if you decide that it's not for you, you will think of someone that this would be great for. It's just an awesome opportunity. So I'm going to kind of just run through this. Sometimes I ask people to close their eyes, but you don't have to on here. But I want you to envision a life with a continual abundance of time, money, and freedom. Leave the rush of life behind. Enjoy the day-to-day. Cherish time with the ones you love. Travel to your heart's desire. Give big to the causes that tug at your heart and the people that are close to you. Live each day excited, inspired, and motivated to make your mark. What does that feel like? Really let that resonate for a moment. No stress, no rush to life, full gratitude for all you have and the people around you. Now take a deep breath, and I'm going to ask you a question that I was asked 4.5 years ago. If you keep doing what you're doing, what are the chances of you achieving that life? And how long would it take to get there? I can tell you for me, I was like, I'll probably be dead before that happens. I'll kind of backtrack on my life here 5 years ago. I can't believe how fast the time has gone. I've always been an entrepreneur by nature myself. I've loved having control over my own schedule, deciding when I wanted to work, really being paid on my own efforts. And after college, I got a degree in marketing, and I started a business, promotional products business. So my company did logoed items. So we did screen printing, embroidery, logoed mugs and pens, basically anything that you could put your logo on, my company could do that. And I worked really hard at that for 10 plus years. I did a lot of networking. I was at networking events quite a bit. I never took on employees. It was always just me doing the work. I was a distributor, so I wasn't in my basement making the shirts and that type of thing. I had someone who did that. I outsourced all that, but I built up a great clientele. I've always liked talking to people. And really that's what it was. It was just connecting with people, finding out what their needs were, and filling that need for their promotional products business. I built up a great network of customers, and business was going pretty well. I was, because I never took on employees, it was always as much time as I could put in, was really what I was paid on. And I'll touch on that a little bit more later, why that's important. But life was good. And then, awesomely, my husband came around. We met, we got married, and we started having kids shortly after. So I have 3 kids right now, and I'm pregnant with my 4th. We wanted to have a large family, so that was exciting. But we got married, and I got pregnant pretty much on our honeymoon. So I kind of had to evaluate where I was at with my business. And I said, because I never took on employees, I was either going to have to hire someone to watch my kids and go continue to do that on a day-to-day basis, or I could bring my business home and really maintain the customer base that I had spent all those years building, which was 10 plus years. So I chose to bring my business home. I was a person who I wanted to be as involved with my kiddos as I could be. I also love having my own thing. I love having a professional outsource to really drive me. I love bringing in income to our family. So I really wanted the best of both worlds. So I was home with my little guy, my oldest now, he's almost 8, Braden. He was my firstborn. And I always joke that I was pretty productive during that first year. For those of you on this call, I didn't realize how easy 1 kid was until I jumped on to 2. But I had 1 kiddo, and I would work during naps and nights, and I did pretty well that first year. I maintained my business. My clients were really super happy with how everything was going. People were reordering, and business was good. Then my daughter was born about 2 years later, and I joke that productivity pretty much tanked in all areas. I had a newborn and a toddler, and I was keeping them both alive and happy, so that was good. But everything else was kind of in shambles. My business was slowly starting to fall apart. My customers were leaving because I just couldn't spend the time that I once did. And I didn't blame them. I was busy with these 2 little people who I adored. And as much as I wanted to maintain that business, it slowly just started to drop off. At the time, I'll kind of share our financial background a little bit. We had quite a bit of credit card debt. We were of the category that we made a pretty good living, but we spent slightly more than that great living. We had 2 kiddos. We wanted a bigger family. We were quickly outgrowing the house that my husband had bought prior to us meeting. So all things that really required an income from me, it would have been a bad idea to step away from working completely. But I didn't really know where I was going to turn next. I was not really looking to go out and look for a job per se. I'd always been someone who really worked for myself. So I really was having a hard time envisioning a boss telling me when I needed to be there. And I had no idea where I was going to turn next. So I received this email from my friend, Megan Luna. Well, Megan Wise, she actually just got married yesterday. So they eloped, for people in Arbonne who don't know that. Anyway, so my friend Megan Luna sends me this email and she says, hey, I think you should take a look at Arbonne. I think you'd be great at it. And I politely email her back and say, thanks for thinking of me, but no thanks. I had tried a couple of other these types of businesses. And to tell you the truth, I was super skeptical. I did not think that you could replace an income doing this type of business. I really thought the most you could make was a couple extra $100 a month, which, you know, depending on what your needs are, for a lot of people, a couple extra $100 can go a long way. But if I was going to try a business like this, I knew that it needed to come close to replacing the income that I currently made, which was a pretty decent income. So I wrote her off. I said, thanks for thinking of me. No thanks, not for me. But I'm super grateful. I say that we had some mutual friends, and Megan was pleasantly persistent as well. But I was at a baby shower with some mutual friends, and I heard that Megan was about to earn her Mercedes. And I was like, I never knew anyone who earned a car doing this type of business, let alone a Mercedes, right? So I said, maybe there's a little more to this than I know. So I decided that I needed to at least find out more info and get my questions answered, which all of you tonight on this call are doing. So I really applaud you just for getting more info and finding out if this may or may not be a fit for you. So I went to an opportunity breakfast. It's similar to this, but in someone's home. And I got to hear another story of a gal who had succeeded at this business. But more importantly, I got to talk to a couple people there at length and really get a lot of my hesitations and questions answered. First, I talked to my friend Tara Brandsma. So Tara is now an executive national vice president. She's one of the top leaders in Arbonne. She's been doing Arbonne for 11 years. But back when she first started, she was a CPA by trade. She was actually pregnant with her first child. She was super shy. She hated talking to people. And by people, I mean people was like super intimidating to her. She couldn't even order pizza on the phone. She would have her husband do it. So really a very unlikely type to be in a business that you speak in front of other people. She also was not into skincare at all. Skincare was not her thing. She had never washed her face. I have not quite that background, but I too, skincare was not my huge love. Now I'm like, gosh, I'm so grateful that I get these amazing products. But you don't have to be passionate about skincare or nutrition to really succeed in this business. We have awesome products, and I'll talk on that. But this is really a vehicle that you can succeed in whatever bigger dreams you have. So anyway, I got to talk to Tara, and like I said, she was someone who was super shy, not into skincare, but really she was an auditor as a CPA. And she was taught and trained to look at businesses and find faults with them. That's what her background was. So after hearing about Arbonne, she was super skeptical herself, and she took it home to her husband, Bill, who was also an auditor. And she said, I think I might want to do this. And he at first was like, do what? She's like, Arbonne. He's like, but you can't order pizza on the phone. She's like, that's true, but I think that this could be a great thing for us down the line. So they really looked at that business inside and out and couldn't find any faults with it. So she jumped in. And the things that really intrigued me with Tara is within 14 months, she earned the company car, which is the white Mercedes. I earned my own about almost 2 years ago, which is pretty awesome. But within 18 months, she doubled her CPA income and was able to step away from her full-time job. I had no idea what CPAs made, but I was like, doubling any income has got to be pretty good. Then I got to talk to my friend Megan a little more at length. Megan is an entirely different background. She's a nurse by trade. She does not have kids. Like I said, she just got married, so she was single. She's not a mom, so you don't have to be a mom to do this. Really, like I said, you can have any type of background to do this business. But a few things intrigued me about Megan. She actually started her business when she was in grad school. She was getting her MBA. Like I said, she had a nursing degree, but had really topped out at the top of that nursing ladder, the payment ladder. And it really thought getting her MBA would really be the next step for her to get some more choices in her professional career. So she went to Regis, which is a private school here in Denver. And a couple of things, she started Arbonne to help put herself through grad school. She was able to get her MBA without any debt, which was awesome, working Arbonne alongside that. What I love about Arbonne is 95% of the people who do this business do it alongside what they're currently doing. So you don't have to quit your job. You shouldn't quit your job to do this business, but you fit it into the nooks and crannies of your time. So she was working full-time. She was in grad school full-time, and she was working Arbonne 10 to 15 hours a week in her openings, really to create more choices down the line. So she got through grad school without any debt. She got a great job in medical device sales, which she was actually traveling about 70% of her week. She continued to build her Arbonne business. And she actually earned her Mercedes about a year after starting doing her business. And what's cool, this isn't quite cool, but she said, I'm going to give this, at that point, she had replaced the income of her medical device sales job. She said, I'm going to give it 6 months. And if the income is still there, I'm going to quit my corporate job. And it's funny what you put out into the universe, because about 6 months later, she was actually laid off from that corporate job, almost 6 months to the day. And what she will tell you is in that moment, she was actually on the beach in Maui when they called her and laid her off. They said, we hate to interrupt your vacation, but we have to get this off our plate. She said what she felt in that moment was incredible gratitude that she had started a backup plan. While her colleagues were scrambling to find a new job, she had replaced her income and then some, so she could really step back and spend some time seeing what she wanted to do as a next step in her professional career. So what I've saw after talking to the two of them and what I've seen since I've started Arbonne is really just filled with professional types of women who really want more choices. I think if you talk to most women these days, they feel very run down, kind of ragged, kind of running that rat race of life, especially if you've been in the corporate grind for a long time, whether you're first starting out of college, with that fresh excitement, or you've been in the corporate world for a long time. I know that Arbonne has a lot to offer both of those types of backgrounds. What I said is I've seen that Arbonne just attracts a professional type of person that wants more choices and is willing to work for those choices. So I decided after talking to them that I had to try this. Like, if I didn't try it, I would have wondered, what if that had worked for me? What would my life look like now? So I jumped in knowing nothing. I love the training and mentoring that you get in this business. I remember when Megan said that she was going to be at my first parties with me, I was like, what? Like, I can't tell you how much training and mentoring and help you get in this business if you decide that you want to go for it and go all out. So I jumped in. I have followed the system and whoever invited you on this call, we can actually obviously tell you a little bit more about what that system looks like. I'll talk about it a little on this call. But I'll finish this off later, but a couple years in, about 3 years in, I earned my Mercedes and I had replaced the income of that other business. I will tell you, I had a lot of hesitations even when I decided to do this. So I'm going to address those because I'm sure that if I had them, they're pretty common. And I can tell you that there's lots of if you don't have hesitations, I always tell you you're lying, because there's always some hesitations and misconceptions that people have with a business like this. So one of the first ones that I had is you must have to know a lot of people, and I really don't want to burn out my friends and family on a business like this. So what I've learned in my 4.5 years of doing this business is that we know way more people than we think we know. The problem is we prejudge them. What I've learned in Arbonne is it's really just our job to offer the business, offer these awesome products, and see who's interested and who might grab hold of those products and the business. The other thing that I love about our system is that we teach you to meet people through the people you currently know. So while your friends and family help you get started, they're not the ones that are going to keep you in business. So they may become some of your best customers. I can tell you that I have, some family members and friends that order on a monthly basis now that were at my very first party that I did. So I've been earning an income on them from that very first party. But I can tell you that almost everyone that's on my team is someone that I met through Arbonne or along the way, and not someone I knew prior. Both Sarah and Judy and Kirsten, I can't see all the consultants that are on this call, are not people that I knew prior to doing this business. So you know more people than you think you know, and you're going to meet way more people down the line. So you don't have to worry about burning out friends and family doing a business like this. The second thing, and this is kind of funny to me when I look back on it, I really didn't consider myself a salesperson, and I didn't want to be too salesy or pushy, I guess, per se. And when I look back, I owned my own company, and I obviously did all the sales. Like, that's what I did. I sold things. But I never even then considered myself a salesperson. I've always considered myself a relationship builder. And that's really what Arbonne is. It's building relationships. So it's getting to know people, getting to know what their needs are, and seeing if we have a product that might be a fit for them. Our products really do sell themselves, which I love. The more I've learned a lot about our products in the last 4.5 years, but when I first started, I didn't know a ton about the products. And I quickly learned that they were awesome, and I will elaborate a little bit more on them, on what makes them different. If you don't know yet, if you don't know much about the products, but they sell themselves, and you really just build the relationships and help people find what product works best for them. Also, as women, we're great recommenders. That's all this is. Like, if women have a great hairstylist or see a great movie or go to a great restaurant, we usually tell our friends about it. So really, this is just recommending and offering people, telling people what we love about the Arbonne products. Let's see here. I'm going to jump to a little different part. My script, sorry, I'm doing a little different today. So I'm going to share a little on the corporate perspective and just a little bit of info about Arbonne and why this is just such a good time to get involved with this company. We're a 36-year-old botanically based wellness company. I love that we're 36 years old, and I'll talk about that in a minute. You definitely want to go with a company that's been around at least 10 years, and I'll talk about why in just a moment. Our products are formulated in Switzerland but manufactured in the US, and we adhere to all of the European standards for both skincare and nutritionals. On the skincare side, I'm going to tell you why this is important. On the skincare side, all of our plant-based products are free from harmful chemicals, and we adhere to the strictest standards in the world. If you were to Google or look up the European Union and see all of the items that they ban from their personal care products, it's something like 1,200 plus ingredients that are banned from their products. In the US, it's about 12 total. So we adhere to that higher standard, which I love. And it's crazy. All of our products are free of parabens. Even over the border in Canada, they've banned parabens. In the US, I don't know if they ever will. Parabens are preservative. It's been proven that they do lead to certain types of cancers. And what's scary to me is even look, they were in almost every baby product that I used when I first started this business. So I love that just by a byproduct of doing this business, I'm providing my family with a lot healthier choices in both their skincare, all of their personal care items, and in their nutritional items as well, their nutritional products. We offer a wide range of consumable products. So why is that important, you may say? So if you're going to sell anything, you want to sell something consumable. It's super important from a business perspective. So I mentioned before that I have family, friends who have been purchasing from me for 4.5 years. They love those products. So I've accumulated a large number of customers throughout that 4.5 years who love the products and continue to reorder and reorder and reorder. So I make that residual income every month. You don't want to sell something that has a lifetime guarantee where you need to go out and find new customers every single month. Does that make sense? You want a wide range of products. In Arbonne, we have over 400 products, and that just means there's something for everyone. What do we say, from babies to baby boomers, or all the way up to 0 to 90 or 100. You know, there's something, I joke, my 96-year-old, Chad's 96-year-old grandma still uses skincare from Arbonne. So, you know, really it does cover all ranges, men, women, children. There's skincare, cosmetics, nutritionals, hair care, you name it. If we can find something for just about everyone that you know. Let's see. Also, I love that we have both health, nutritionals and skincare. I'll kind of talk about that, why that's important in a minute too. But it is also, there's something for everyone. So there's certain people that skincare is not really their thing, but they're super into nutritionals, and vice versa. So we have something for everyone. A little bit about network marketing in general. It's really just a business model. If you're not familiar with it, most people are familiar with the retail model. The retail model, the products go through lots of different venues or lots of different middlemen until they get to the retail shelf. And each of those middlemen take a cut of the pie, the biggest one being advertising. And then they finally get to the retail shelf and they have to pay for the retail space, the salespeople, all of that. So in network marketing, they cut out all of the middlemen, and the product goes straight from the manufacturer directly to the consumer through independent consultants just like us. Because of that, they save a huge amount of money, and they're able to reinvest that into creating superior products at an awesome price, and then pay their consultants very lucratively. So that's really just network marketing, what it is. I am going to quickly just share with you some of the average incomes in Arbonne and in network marketing, because this was a huge hang up of mine, was the income. I was like, how do you even, I didn't think that you could replace an income. I think I mentioned that. And since I've learned what network marketing is, I know how, because they take out all those middlemen. A district manager takes an average of 1 to 2 months to get to. The average income there is about $200 to $1,000 per month. So like a good car payment for most people, right? Area manager takes an average of about 6 to 12 months to get to. The average income there is about $1,000 to $4,000 per month. And that's where your business also becomes willable. And I love this. Once you achieve the area manager level, if something happens to you, I always joke when I kick the bucket when I'm like 90, my age I change all the time. I'll go with 98 this time. When I'm 98 years old, Arbonne will keep paying my family my income. And because I'm selling consumable products, people will keep reordering, and I also spend time teaching and training others, so that income could come in for generations, which is pretty awesome. Our regional vice president, the average time is about 2 to 3 years. The average income there is $4,000 to $14,000 per month. That's replacement income for most people. It's like, that's when you also earn the free white Mercedes. And then national vice president takes an average of about 5 years to get to. I'm going to be there this year. It's crazy. Just by continuing to work and do and follow our system, I'll be right on that average. But the average income is about $22,000 per month, which is really life-changing income, and you can really impact and do things for others in a big way at that point. So I just wanted to share that because the income was a huge, I don't know, I did not think that was possible, but it is, and I know lots of people. So through Arbonne, you really become the CEO of your own time, and you really are time leveraging. So I had no idea what time leveraging was really until I did Arbonne. So I'm going to share a little bit about what that is. So most of us trade our time for money. So you go to work for a certain amount of time and then you get your paycheck. That's the majority of us, what we do. So I love teaching people really how to leverage their time. So we do that in a couple of ways. One, I told you about the consumable products. So while you're out there selling consumable products, eventually people are going to reorder, and you're going to make money while you're not working. You might be working out or sleeping or taking a shower or at the zoo, and you wake up and someone's placed an order and you've made some money. And that's awesome. So that's one way you time leverage. The other way in Arbonne is we spend a lot of time teaching and training others how to do this business really even better than we do it ourselves. So just as an example, I'm going to use about 10 shifts a month, okay, that I'm out doing Arbonne. So I'm out doing my 10 shifts in a month. So maybe I do 8 parties and I come to we have a nation event and another event. So that's my 10 shifts. And I get to choose when those are. I love at the beginning of the month, I put all of my family stuff, all of my personal stuff on my calendar that's most important to me. And then I fill my work in the openings around that. I think most of us do the opposite. We have to kind of put our work down and then see when we can fit in the fun stuff. So I do the opposite. So I have my 10 shifts, and then I find Sarah. And Sarah's like, you know what? I can do my 10 shifts. And then I find Judy, or Sarah finds Judy, and she says, yeah, I can do my 10 shifts. And then we find Kirsten. So we'll spend a lot of time teaching and training and helping those people to do the very best in Arbonne. But there's going to come a point, and if you decide to do this, what I can say is follow what your mentor is telling you to do. We've been through a lot of these pits and that you're going to get through, and we want to help you get through them faster. Learn from our mistakes, basically. So follow what your mentor is telling you to do. But anyway, so we're out. I'm teaching Kirsten and Judy and Sarah all I know about Arbonne, but this is not rocket science. It's skincare and nutritionals, and eventually they're going to be like, Brooke, I got this. I'm reading from a script. You don't need to be at all my parties. So I'm out doing my 10 shifts a month, but I'm being paid. And Sarah's doing her 10, Judy's doing her 10, Kirsten's doing her 10. So I'm being paid on 40 shifts in a month. There's not even 40 shifts available in a month if you were to look at days of a month. So I want you to think of like a team of 10 or a team of 100 or a team of 1,000. If you're up at night seeing people instead of sheep, that would be great at Arbonne. We call that Arbonne insomnia. But what I can tell you is there's way more people looking for an answer right now. They're going to bed more stressed about money, more stressed about the time they have with their families, more stressed about there being enough money at the end of the month than anything else these days. So this is an awesome opportunity to provide people a chance to really take a hold of their life. So that's how you leverage your time. And obviously, as you build your team, that grows exponentially, which is pretty awesome. So there's a couple of things going on kind of in Arbonne and in our society right now that really make now the very best time to do Arbonne. And I've been in this for 4.5 years, and I've, seen a lot of great times, but I can't really tell you that I've ever seen a time like this that's as good to get involved with this company. We're just seeing huge, massive explosion of growth in our company, and I'll share a little bit why. So from a corporate perspective, Arbonne is growing 20% year over year, which is huge. If you know anyone in finance, if they see 10% growth in a year, that is outstanding. To see 20% growth, especially with a 36-year-old company, is just unparalleled. So we've worked way beyond all of the startup growing pains. I mentioned before that you want to go with a company that's established if you decide to do something like this. An interesting kind of statistic, only 10% of new network marketing companies last the 5-year mark. And of those, only 10% will survive the 10-year mark. I can't imagine anything worse than spending the 5 years that I have working on building my business only to have the headquarters go under. So you want to look for a company that is very established. I love that our founder's vision was plant-based, safe, performing products We're in a market space right now that every big box company is trying to get into. They're scrambling to get into this safe product space. But we've been there for 36 years, so we don't have to go back and change any of our formulations. We've been doing this all along. So I mentioned that there's a couple of trends that are really starting to really just ramp all of this up. So I want you to wrap your mind kind of around what's happening right now and what could be sitting in front of your family in really just a few short years. Okay, so there's a huge trend, especially here we are in January, towards getting healthy, right? People, everywhere you look, there's new things or fads or diets or exercise, deals where people are trying to get their health back on track. Gut health is a huge factor that people are learning more and more about. And safe plant-based products are what people are looking for. So I want to tell you, I get a lot of times when people say, I get that there's a lot of different network marketing companies out there. There's a lot of different products out there. There's even safe and botanically based products out there from other companies. So why is Arbonne different than those companies? And here's what I can tell you why we're different. We are the only company on the market that treats health from the inside out. What does that mean? So there's a lot of great skincare companies. There's a lot of great nutrition companies, but we're the only one that really addresses both and treats health from the inside out. An example might be acne. So say I have a customer that comes to me and says that their daughter has acne. So if rather than just treat it topically with skincare, what I'm going to tell her is, first, I'm going to treat gut health. So I'd say, hey, you should probably get off dairy. Dairy can be one of the things that leads to acne. I would recommend taking Arbonne's probiotic. We have an awesome Digestive Plus. It's a prebiotic, a probiotic, and a digestive enzyme. So much of how our skin looks actually comes from our gut, which is crazy. And then I would treat her with our acne line, which treats the whole pH of the skin and not just the one blemish. So rather than just treating it topically, I can actually affect her health from the inside out, which is pretty awesome. The other thing that Arbonne does is we actually test for results. And that sounds, you would probably assume that most companies test for results, but they don't. We actually send ours We actually send ours to a third party for testing. So a third party source. A lot of companies actually test in-house, which is a little biased. So we actually make sure that all of our products do what they're saying they do. And then lastly, we don't self-regulate. So we actually get backed by certifications and government regulators. So we are vegan certified. We have the kosher certification on many of our products. Non-GMO, we're going through all those certifications right now. Those take time and money to do. But we spend the time and money to send everything out to get certified by those companies that do that and those regulators, so we can put those on our packaging, and you can feel comfortable telling not only your customers but yourself as well that what you're telling people is true. I think we've all seen some of the companies out there that are making a claim, and someone does a backdoor test on it, and they don't really have in there what they say they have in there. So those are the things that really set Arbonne apart. Another trend we're seeing is that everyone right now really wants more time, money, and time freedom, right? I think that most people would fire their boss right now if they could and just go start living on their own terms. But we're seeing this huge trend in the US towards self-employment. You see it everywhere with Airbnb, with Etsy, with Uber, all of those, there's a bunch of other ones, TaskRabbit, Care.com. The difference with those models as opposed to a network marketing company like Arbonne is you're only paid on that one instance, on the one job you do. So you're not leveraging your time. So I mentioned that before. So if you're on Airbnb, you rent out your house and you get paid on that one time you rented it out. If you're an Uber driver, you don't drive someone, and if someone gets in another Uber, you don't get $5 more later. You're just paid on that one drive. So with network marketing, you actually, your business continues to grow and grow and grow, and you're doing the same amount of work. Does that make sense? Okay. Network marketing in itself, this is an exploding industry right now. I think most of you would agree that you probably know someone. Well, obviously those of you who are invited to the call know someone, but you probably know several people who have decided to join a network marketing company as of late. Network marketing has evolved into a very elegant, professional type of business model. I say we're seeing even the most fancy professionals look at network marketing because they have time leveraging and because they have that residual income that comes in over time. Okay. Oh, okay. One of the last things that's really just a huge trend that's going on right now is technology and video chat and Zoom and all of this awesome technology that really offers us the opportunity to connect with people, not only all over our state, all over our nation, but all over the globe. I love that I get to talk about this while we're doing a Zoom call. But gosh, you don't have to, you are not at all bound by your geography doing a business like this. Arbonne is growing by leaps and bounds globally. We're currently in Canada, Australia, the UK, Poland. We opened in New Zealand in June, in Taiwan in November. That's going to be the gateway to Asia. And I can tell you they have lots of places currently on the horizon to expand in the next year or so. So we're just getting started globally, which is super awesome. And you can literally, you may not know someone in those countries, but someone you know knows someone, which is pretty awesome. I have customers in Canada and the UK in my success line, not through anyone I knew, but actually through Judy on this call. But you know, it's the people that you know will know people, and you can have customers in any of those places. What I love too is you can actually launch people, help people get started with their business over video chat or over Zoom, just like we're doing now. So you can literally have customers, consultants, business partners in all parts of the world, which is super awesome. The internet is quickly replacing the retail model, and I think we've all seen that. I think I did almost all my Christmas shopping online this year. The retail model is definitely changing. I think I saw Macy's is scheduled to close 100 stores here in the next few months. So that is definitely, we're definitely on trend there with an internet-based business. Okay. Okay. So you might be saying, you know, what if this doesn't work? We always joke, like, the worst thing that if you decide to give this a go and it doesn't work, I can tell you the worst thing that can happen is you'll be clean and healthy for about a year. That really is the biggest thing you have to lose. But I have to say, what if this works? Like, what if you try this business and it works? Like, what would your life look like then? It's crazy to think about. I can tell you the 3 magic things that make this work. It's work hard. I think most of us aren't opposed to working hard. Like, we all work hard in our lives. So work hard, do the work. Be coachable. Listen to what your mentor is telling you to do. They're successful for a reason. They've gone through a lot of the ups and downs, and they can tell you how to get the most out of this and really be as successful as you want to be. And then lastly, don't quit. This business takes time. You know, most businesses take time. All businesses take time for your network to form. I usually tell people that if they're going to try a business like this, they need to give it at least 2 years, 1 to 2 years minimum, to really give it time to learn the business and for your network to form. An awesome statistic about network marketing. So 95% of the people who join a network marketing company with a great consumable product are at the top of their company within 10 years, if you work consistently for that time. In Arbonne, our average is actually about 5. But if it took me 10, I'd still stay. Because how long have you been? I was working at my other business for 10 years. I was nowhere near the type of income or the type of time freedom that I'll have with Arbonne in 10 years. So just really a short amount of time. in the big scheme of things. And I said, time is always, it's going to pass no matter what. So wouldn't you rather be spending that time working towards your dreams and really going after what you want in your life? Fear is one of the most common things that people come across when they're looking at trying something new. It's so common. Fear, our mind dominates us in so many ways, good and bad. And that's a whole nother, could spend probably an hour talking on Zoom about that. But 95% of this business is really what goes on between your two ears. And I love that you really learn through Arbonne how to think more positively, shut out the negatives, be more grateful. There's so many side effects of doing a business like this that will just lead you to be a better person and live a better life. But fear is super common. Fear is false evidence appearing real. So basically it's stories that you tell yourself about what you think is going to happen in a situation that most likely won't even happen. As infants, we're born with two fears, the fear of falling and the fear of loud noises. We outgrow both of those fears. As adults, we have over 4,000 fears, and 85% of those have to do with what we think other people are thinking. How disempowering is that, right? What I've learned through doing this is people aren't thinking about you, first of all. They're thinking about themselves most of the time. So you don't have to be worried about what they're thinking about you, because they're not. But even if they are, who cares? Like, really, who cares? Those people are not out, paying my kiddos' education or earning trips for my family. So I'd say fear kills more dreams than failure ever does. And don't be that person. Don't let fear get the most of you. Get out there and try something new. Yeah, it could be scary. Yeah, it's going to be something that's outside your comfort zone, but you're never going to be fully comfortable if you keep living in that comfort zone, if that makes sense. And if you have those fears, they're likely holding you back in so many areas of your life. So I'm going to kind of fast forward here, 4.5 years. So I've been doing this business. I've earned, like I said, I've replaced the income of my other business. I love that my husband, his passion is really with, you might say, like, I love my job. And if you do, that's great. But when you love to do it because you love to do it, not because you had to do it. But for me, my husband, he's in IT, and he'd love to start his own software company. That was never going to be a reality for us, the way that our life was going. He was never going to have that opportunity. I can tell you that we're about a year or so away. He's actually in developing some software and getting that going. And that's because of Arbonne. I'm able to take the financial pressure off him for our family and really allow him to go after his dreams as well. There's also trips in Arbonne. Another reason why now is an awesome time to look at Arbonne. If any of you have seen Sarah Tracy's posts on here, there are a couple of awesome trips that were just came out. One came out in December and one came out in January. And anyone right now on this call can earn these. So the first one is to Riviera Maya in October in Mexico. And the second one is actually to Italy, to Tuscany in November, which is pretty awesome. So I can tell you myself, I've earned 3 trips with Arbonne. I've earned one to Cabo, I was able to take my family on a 7-day cruise to the Caribbean. And then I've also earned a trip to the Bahamas, which is to the Atlantis. So if you love to travel, or if you're someone who's never gone on a trip but would love to because you just can't afford it, Arbonne is the place to be. I love that we're given these fabulous trips for doing our job. There's jewelry, there's recognition. I'd say most people get into this business because of a financial need, but they stay because of the people that they meet. I can tell you, you will never be surrounded by more uplifting, positive, forward-thinking, inspirational people than you will in Arbonne. So that alone, I would stay in this business forever just because of the people that I'm surrounded with that are continually trying to build me up to be the best person I can be. And it's crazy how what we learn in Arbonne, you learn to block out the negatives, you learn to focus on the positives, become more grateful, and that trickles down to your kids if you have kids. Your kids are watching. And just as an example, my son he's, like I said, he's 7, and there was a game, a tester game or something coming out on the computer that he had my husband like emailed or sign up for. My husband had gotten the date wrong of when this tester game was going to come out. And so the date came and he's like, it's supposed to be here, and it wasn't. And my husband looked it up and he had the date wrong. It was like 2 more weeks. And I told Braden, he's like, can we check tomorrow morning? And I was like, no, it's not going to be there. He's like, you told me the mind is a powerful thing. And if you think positively, what you think about, you bring about. And I'm like, well, that's true, but this is probably not going to be one of those situations. But I love that he's already thinking how powerful his mind is and how powerful his thoughts can be, because that is something that will serve him like long, long into his life. So that's something that he never would have caught on to really if it weren't for this business. Okay. So I'm gonna finish it out here in a minute. I love this business. Obviously, I've become more and more passionate about it every year I do it. I know that the best is yet to come for everyone on this call, and I know that Arbonne is just headed in some amazing, amazing directions. I encourage you all. I'm going to wrap up with a little bit more info, but I want to, if you were invited to be on this call and just listen in, I want you to text the person who invited you, whether you're a 1, 2, or 3. A 1 is, gosh, you know what? Those products sound awesome. I'd love to get the business is not for me, but those products sound awesome. I'd love to get my hand on those products. Better yet, host a get together for the person that invited you to be on this call. That's really how you can get them at the best discount, and you'll learn a lot more about them, and some of your friends will as well. 2 is, you know what? I am super intrigued by what that lady had to say, but I have so many more questions. So if you're a 2, text that over and then get with the person who invited you on the call and get your questions answered. It could change your life. And then 3 is, wow, I'm ready to go. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I want to know what my next steps are, and I want to get this going. So definitely just text them over, but I encourage you all to really, really strongly consider giving this business a look. I know that this is a time of year that we often look back at the year past, set goals for our future, and really, if you're someone who feels like there's a sleeping giant inside of you that's ready to just go take hold of your dreams, this can be your vehicle to achieve really anything that you want out of life, and I love that. Okay. Oh, I didn't touch on this, so I challenge you to stop thinking about how this can't work and how you can make it work. Sometimes the very reason that we don't think we should do a business like this is the very reason we should. If you're thinking, gosh, I just don't have enough money. I love in Arbonne, the startup costs are minimal compared to if you were to go out and start a brick and mortar business or even start a franchise type business. Our startup costs are so low. You need the products that you need to show at your presentations. And your consultant can walk you through what those are. What I love is the tax deductions as well. All of your personnel care products become tax deductions. Most people make back in tax write-offs more than what it takes to start this business, which I love. You'll get to write off things that you currently use, like your computer, a portion of your car, your gas mileage, your cell phone. Anytime I take a trip anywhere, I try and do a little Arbonne, and I can write off a portion of the trip. I've had people who start this business because of the tax write-offs alone. So if you're thinking money is your holdup, there's definitely, like I said, you do have an investment to start, but I also love that you're earning as you're learning. And if you follow what we teach you and train you to do, you'll make that investment back in the first 2 to 4 months, which is awesome. Not enough people. Like say, gosh, I don't think I know enough people. I can tell you that we know more people than we think we know. And you don't need to know a whole lot of people to get this business started, and you're going to meet a ton of people down the line. And because of technology like this, you can you can talk to people in any parts of the nation or the world that you know as well. The last one is I don't have enough time, and time is really making a priority out of something. And you can find time for anything that you want to prioritize. And I can tell you, give me your schedule, and I can probably find someone that is busier that has found a way to fit this in. It's really prioritizing Arbonne for a short amount of time and giving up some things that maybe aren't as good for you in the long run. We always say if you have time to look through Facebook or watch even a little TV, I think they said the average person watches something like 30 hours of TV a week, which is crazy. That was not me, but if that's you, you cut a third of that out and you have time to do this business. But what I have to say is if you continue doing what you're doing, will you have more time in the long run? So, if nothing changes, nothing changes, right? Let's see here. A couple of questions. So where will you be in 5 years if you keep doing what you're doing? Instead of asking yourself, what if this doesn't work? Ask yourself, what if this does? What if you helped yourself live your best life just by giving this business a try? What if you helped someone else live their best life? I can tell you that Arbonne is filled with a culture of giving back. Once your needs are met, we're very much a company that focuses on giving back in big ways. We have MVPs in our team who have built 90 homes in Haiti, who go down and do missions in Guatemala for medical needs. We have an OB/GYN who goes down to Guatemala every year and does a mission down there because of Arbonne. She can do that. Cecilia Stoll, she's the #1 income earner in our company, and she and her husband donate more per month than they used to make combined in a year. So everyone has something near and dear to their heart. Think if you could do something big in a big way for that cause, how would that feel? There's never been a better time to really just rip that Band-Aid off and go all out and go after it. Let's see, with Arbonne, you own your own business and you own your own life. For me, true success has really been living my life on my own terms. And I love that I'm doing that every day with Arbonne. Okay. I invite you to I invite you to join us on this journey. You'll have no idea what you're doing, which is completely normal and it's completely scary. But I can promise you that you're in awesome hands with all of these awesome leaders on this call. And I know that if you decide that it's a fit, you decide to go for it, I can promise you that it'll be quite a ride, but it'll be one of the best rides of your life. So with that, I just encourage you, like I said, to text the person who you talk to, let them know if you're a 1, 2, or 3, and take some time and hopefully make a change for your life and go after this. So I love you all, and good luck, and Happy New Year. And I will sign off for now. So let me stop this recording.